and welcome to episode 10 of AMEB's Break the Isolation webinar series. Today our topic is Music Theory Getting Started, and with me is AMEB Theory Specialist Andrew Raiskums. But before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. We pay our respects to them and their cultures and to elders past and present. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Fiona Seers and I'm the Head of Examining at the Federal Office of AMEB. Back in March, when the restrictions were first put in place, we decided here at AMEB to provide our online theory courses for free. We wanted to support all those teachers, parents and kids out there who were suddenly teaching and schooling from home. And the response has been overwhelming. So Andrew, hello. Can you tell us how many people have registered for these courses?
Hi Fiona. Well, I think the figure is now at well over 35,000.
Which is incredible.
Absolutely incredible. And little did I think when I was writing these courses, which is some years ago now, that we would have such a spectacular uptake. It's just so thrilling and gratifying to me to see those sorts of figures.
Absolutely. It is very exciting. And I was wondering, maybe we could start, if you could just give us a bit of an overview of what the course looks like, how it's structured, for those who haven't actually delved into their courses yet, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, the courses are laid out in a series of lessons that match our theory syllabus and which include changes that we've made to the theory syllabus over time. So that mostly affects grade 3. Now, as a teacher and our theory specialist in the AMEB Federal Office since 2009, I'm very much aware of the areas in which students traditionally struggle. And these are usually the creative aspects of music theory. So that's in grade 2 and grade 3 especially. I really wanted to break down the creative aspects. So, writing rhythms, writing melodies, as much as I could to give students and teachers strategies for tackling these areas. This is also something that I followed through with into grade 4 theory, which I've just finished writing. We also wanted to make video content to support the lessons. So the videos have graphics, they have audio content, and they've also got links to online practice tests at the end of each lesson.
Perfect. So in grade 1, what are the sorts of theory concepts that we're looking at here?
Okay, well, yeah, grade 1 is really about getting started. So in terms of scales and keys, there's only 3 in grade 1 theory. So there's C major, G major and F major. Students learn about intervals. They learn the intervals only by number at grade 1. They learn about tonic triads. Then they learn all the note values from the semi-breve all the way down to pairs of quavers. They learn the minim rest and the crotchet rest, 2/4 time, 3/4 time, 4/4 time. Some fairly simple transposition, and then a number of commonly used Italian terms. So that's grade 1. That's
grade 1.
Yeah.
And what does that lead to in grade 2?
Okay, in grade 2, there are more major keys and we introduce minor keys. Intervals, now students have to do them, they have to sort of name them by quality and number. They have to learn to write tonic triads in all the new keys. They learn about triplets, semiquavers, 6/8 time, transposition now into any of the keys that they've learned. They learn about form, binary form, ternary form. And then, as I mentioned before, just some simple rhythmic stuff, writing accents in a couplet of words.
Okay,
that's grade 2.
Stepping it up a little bit, yes. And grade 3?
Grade 3, students learn flat major keys all the way down to A flat, sharp keys as far as E major, and then minor keys as far as C minor. Intervals have to be written for all of the keys. And when I'm saying new keys, it's a cumulative thing. So, we're sort of starting to build the cycle of fifths with all of the keys and wanting students to learn the relationships between the keys themselves, but also major and minor keys. Primary triads, they have to write them in root position and first inversion. They learn about 4-part vocal style. They learn to write perfect and plagal cadences, an understanding of all the common errors in voice leading. They learn about the duplet, dotted rhythms, cut common time, 3/2, 3/8, 9/8 time. Transposition will involve accidentals. They learn about sequence, they learn about rondo form, and then the creative aspects are really stepped up in grade 3. So students have to write a rhythmic pattern now to a couple of words. It's not just writing in the accents, they have to write an actual rhythm, and then a 4-bar melody in a major key. So there's a bit of a jump from grade 2 to grade 3. We really start to amp things up in grade 3.
Great. And you alluded earlier to the fact that we do have AMEB Theory of Music books available.
Yes.
And do these align completely with the courses? It's the same content, presumably?
The books were developed from the courses, but they'll be slightly different in some areas. The books we call integrated course and lessons. So there's chapters, lessons, and each lesson will have a set of questions at the end. So there are more questions, if people wanted to test themselves even further.
Great. So they can do the course, do the test at the end of the course, and they also have they can also use the book maybe alongside the course if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Lots of options.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just a sort of more general question, where does this all lead? What are the sort of skills, why do you think it's useful for kids and also for adult learners to study music theory?
Well, I think, in lockdown, in social isolation, maybe theory is something that you always wanted to learn, but you sort of never had the time, So you could use our courses to start to learn theory at home at your own pace. I've said in previous webinars that theory, a knowledge of music theory enhances your practical studies. So now's a good time to get ahead on your theory because it's going to have an impact in your learning your pieces. As you've already said, the courses lead directly to exams. And so people can choose to do exams if they want to. The courses and the practice tests are designed to prepare people well for our online exams. So the style of questions that appear in the courses match those in the practice tests, which match those on the exams. So there's a flow on, a natural flow on. And so I guess what I'm saying is I would encourage people heartily to have a go at an exam if they feel up to it. And I'll just sort of finish this question by saying that it's a proven fact that kids who do well in music, who are encouraged to take up music early on, usually do well in other subjects. So it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. All the studies are there. We hear about this all the time.
Yep.
And it's worth pointing out to people that the theory exams do come into play for practical exams. Do you have anything else you wanted to say about the content of the courses before we introduce our special guest?
No, I think I've covered everything in a nutshell there, Fiona.
Yeah, I think you have.
Yeah.
Oh, I did want to mention grade 4. We often get asked, when is the grade 4 theory book coming out? Do you have any news for us there?
I would say at this point it's going to be later in the year, but yeah, look, it's all done, and I'm very happy with it. And as I said, I follow on from the sorts of strategies that I've had in the earlier grades, and that is to really sort of flesh out the traditionally trouble areas So, yeah, I think later in the year, possibly October, November.
So I believe you have actually written most of it now, which is...
it's done. I've actually handed it over.
That's brilliant. Well done. Congratulations. I can imagine that's quite a feat.
Indeed it was.
Yeah, so we thought we'd invite a guest to join us. Belinda Wong is going to join us on this webinar. She's actually a friend of mine, and I know that she's been doing the course with her children at home. So hello, Belinda, I can see you there now. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent.
Well,
thanks for having me.
That's okay. Thank you for joining us. We just thought it'd be nice to get the perspective of a parent and who's at home with their children and have decided to do these courses. So who have you got in your household who's been doing them?
Primarily Jasper, who's 8, and I've also got Maddie, who's 6. And because both kids have been learning piano since about 5, she's naturally interested. So in a way, I think I'm probably going to enroll her just so that they both can have a go.
Yeah, because even 8 seems quite young. Andrew, would you say that the courses are, what sort of age group do you think they're really suitable for?
Yeah, that's a good question, Fiona. When we started designing the courses, it was, for me, it was imperative that they led into our theory books, and we always had planned to take our theory books up to grade 6. So a full suite from 1 to 6. So I guess I wanted a fairly neutral and a fairly consistent tone throughout all the books. So I wanted them to be accessible to kids that were just starting to learn music, to teenagers, and also to adults. But, you know, my recommendation for, you know, kids, 7, 8 years old, I recommend that they have a parent or a teacher, or even say an older sibling, just to guide them through any challenges that might pop up.
Yeah, so Belinda, is that what you've been doing? Tell us about your experience.
So I guess the background is that Jasper sings with the Australian Boys Choir, and I've actually just had a look at some of the names popping up, and I think we've got a few Australian Boys Choir parents on. So the great thing when we all started to go into lockdown was that the choir let us know that AMEB had provided these free courses. So we thought, fabulous. I think most of us as parents are probably looking for additional activities. And because, especially the kids who are already playing piano, singing, playing on the instrument, whatnot, have this natural interest, it just felt like it was the right time. And I guess, to be honest, that he's covered a lot of the terms. So opening up grade 1, it's nothing new to say, hey, these are the names of the notes, here are the pictures, because as Andrew said, a lot of it's quite natural. Like, music is actually written around letters of the alphabet. It is around numerical patterns. So if your child can count, that's it, right? So it's about, I think as a parent, it's sort of awakening that interest. And definitely I would not recommend, if you are working with a young child, to expect that they just log on, watch the videos, you can head off, and then, they've absorbed everything. Because I think the videos are designed for a range of people, so you do have the ability to stop. And I find that sometimes I just kind of go, oh, actually that was a little bit quick. Should we just skip back a little bit, repeat it, and just have a listen?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So there is that ability within the course just to stop and start the video.
Definitely.
You can travel at your own pace. Yeah. And you said that Maddie sometimes looks in and has a little look.
Yeah, it's really
Maddie.
quite funny. Yeah, she's kind of, hovered in the background. Oh, what are you looking at? Well, you can join us, sit down, have a look at the video. And she'll actually count along, and she'll say, oh, that's, so-and-so. And the great thing is, because my kids are already learning music, they actually have already seen everything. So you're not looking at kids who've picked up the book and from, a very fresh start gone, oh, okay, here are some lines and here are some, notations and whatnot. They've seen it. So one really great way is that I might actually pick up the piano books and say, oh, we've actually seen this symbol before, and you make that connection. And that's probably a natural thing that you do with children anyway. It's unlikely that we teach children by just presenting one form of information and expecting them to absorb it. You actually need them to make it meaningful. They need to connect to the information that's in front of them.
Yeah. And have you tried any of the end of lesson tests with Jasper?
We have, and it's actually really good feedback. So I think particularly for children, I think we find the same as adults. You know, if you're learning something new, it's kind of nice to hear, hey, you're doing really well, you're on the right track. With kids, I think it's even more important that they get that feedback, just to say, yes, you've consolidated this, looking good, or, oh, look, this is an area that we could work a little bit more on. So I would say it's really worthwhile as you go through each lesson to actually try those tests. And it doesn't matter if you don't get it all right. The main thing is that you know what you need to work on. Go back, rewatch the videos, make it, you know, fit for your own children.
And you can do multiple tests, can't you, Andrew? Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there are multiple tests for every question in every lesson.
Fantastic. So where are you up to in the courses, Belinda? Have you progressed past grade 1?
Oh, no, not yet. I think with everything that's going on, I've just gone, right, kids, if we're interested, there's some days where they're like, great, let's just do 2 lessons. And there are other days where it's like, all right, we'll give it a go. And you get through 1 and, you know, that's enough. So I think it is just about working at your own pace. And because what you don't want to do as well is just to overwhelm, because it's quite a bit of content for a younger person. And I get that, you know, with older students, but, you know, as an adult, you probably could get through a couple of lessons in one sitting and be okay. Yeah.
And do you think you'll Jasper will try a grade 1 exam sometime?
I think so. I think he's quite keen to learn more. So yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Just a question from me, Belinda. How much assistance do you have to provide whilst Jasper's looking at the material?
I think it is, I would recommend, because the videos are quite short, it's not like you're sitting there for hours, you know, watching them. I would recommend sitting with your child, because it's helpful as well. Questions might come up later on, or if they're taking that knowledge to, say, the piano or singing or whatnot, you know, questions might come up then. So what we tend to do is we watch the videos, then and, you know, I'll get a little bit of feedback. Did that make sense? Oh, yeah, I've covered this before. It's fine. Or I didn't really get that bit. So we might go back. But I think hopefully everyone will also notice that at the end of the lesson is a PDF. So that's well worth printing out. And I know this seems planted, but it's not. I actually happen to have it on my bookshelf. So I do have... and I probably should explain to everyone, I'm a musician, so I have access to these things. I do actually have the grade 1 theory book. I think it's very easy to download the PDFs, and they're the same. Getting the book just means that you don't have to print off every sheet. So you know, it's not like we go through every single page. So as an example, you'll see that this is, you know, it's quite user friendly. It's all there. Children can actually learn to draw their staves. They could, their clefs. You can actually have a look at the keyboard and connect. So I would say make use of everything. It's there. Don't just watch the videos and do the tests, print off the PDFs. It's nice to sometimes have something to look through and actually write on.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. And I should point out that all of this content in all of our courses and all of our books has been written by Andrew. So we're pretty lucky to be talking to the author right here and right now. But thank you, Belinda, for joining us.
Thank you.
Great. So we're going to move on. Actually, before we take questions at the end, and I believe I can see lots of questions popping through. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, and Andrew will explain what I'm doing.
Yes. Fiona is now going to walk us through the process of registering, buying, and starting the course in a little PowerPoint display. So over to you, Fiona.
Great, thank you for doing my talking, because I can't operate this technology and talk at the same time. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes quickly guiding you through what the courses look like, how you can actually go on and obtain a course. So you need to go to our AMEB online learning and exams website, which is found at this address, exams.ameb.edu.au. If you don't already have an account with us, you will need to register for one. This highlighted question here, the first question of where do you live, is really important, because if you're in Victoria or New South Wales, another menu will appear, and on that second menu, please select online courses. You will then be directed to the account holder registration form, which looks like this. One important thing to note here, which again I've highlighted, is that the password you choose for your account must be at least 8 characters long. It must contain 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, 1 symbol, and 1 number. So important to note that. Once you've filled in the form, you'll see this message, which prompts you to check your email inbox. And don't forget to maybe check your spam or your junk, just in case, your junk folders, just in case it's gone through there. The email will ask you to confirm your email address by clicking on that link highlighted. And you will then receive this prompt to log into your account. When logging in, select the account holder option. When you do that to log in and to purchase your courses, you will use the email address and password that you nominated in the registration form. So this is your AMEB online exams and learning dashboard. I'm actually logged in as a New Zealander, hence the New Zealand flag in the corner, so just ignore that. What you need to do is go to the option on the left-hand menu that says Buy Exams and Courses. Please note that this page may look slightly different depending on the state you live in. And of course, even though it says to buy, there is no charge for the courses until the end of June. Next, select the right-hand option, Online Theory or Courses. And this takes you through to this page. And you can see our courses right at the top there, grades 1, 2, and 3 in pink. And further down the page, you'll see, this is where you can also purchase the online theory exams. Okay, so once you've selected the grade that you want, it will ask you for the candidate details. And the candidate is the person who is going to take the course. You may purchase multiple courses for multiple candidates. And once you've added the course to your cart, you can select more courses. And once you have everything you need, click the blue button that says checkout. Once you've completed your purchase, even if it's for $0, you will receive an email that looks like this. It contains the details of all the courses that you have bought. The important information that I've highlighted there and information that you should keep a record of is the course key and the course pin for each of the courses you've purchased. And they will be specific to each course. Now, when you go back into your account and click on My Online Courses, you will see a list of the courses that you have bought. You now have 2 options to open and start the course. You can either enter the course directly from this list, and you can do that by clicking on the little blue arrow next to the course that you want to open and select Log into Course. The second option is for the course candidate to log in themselves. That may be yourself or your student or child. From the same website address that I mentioned earlier, they can select the option to log in as course candidate. They will need their course key and the course pin, which were emailed to you in order to do this. So now you're in the course and you can start watching the videos and proceeding through the lessons. But before you do, we suggest that you follow the highlighted link, it's in blue there, to download the AMEB exam software. You'll need this software in order to take the end of lesson test. It's a very easy process. Select either Mac or Windows and off you go. Please note that the software only works on desktop computers, not on iPads or iPhones. So you've started your course and you can watch the videos. This is a bit what it looks like. You can progress through each lesson. And there are some great graphics and visual aids to help your learning. Note the 2 buttons underneath the video. The one on the left takes you through to the end of lesson test. And the one on the right allows you to download a PDF of the lesson's content. Here's an example of the grade 1, lesson 1 PDF. If you'd like to take the end of lesson test, click on that blue button And this dialog box will open, prompting you to open the exam, the AMEB exams cloud. This software, which you previously downloaded, looks like this. You simply go through the questions and answer each one, testing your new knowledge. The program will let you know if your answer is correct or not. And at the end of the test, you will see this prompt and the software will close. So you'll now see under the video details of when you did the test and notification that your result is available to view. So you can click on that blue arrow and select View Lesson Test Results. The lessons and tests may be reviewed as many times as you like, and you may return to them at any time during the life of your course, which is 12 months from the purchase date. So this is what your result will look like. As you can see, I scored 8 out of 8 for grade 1, lesson 1. Andrew, I hope you're impressed.
Very impressed.
Good. And don't forget that after you finish your course, you're welcome to take an online theory exam. Allegra here posted this gorgeous picture recently on our Facebook page. She achieved the high distinction in grade 3 theory of music. So pretty impressive for
Fantastic.
such a young person. Yeah. So if you need any help during the purchase and setup of your courses, please visit this website here. It's full of all the information that I've told you and plus more. Or you may contact us online at ameb.edu.au or call 1300 725 709.
Marvellous. So I think now we're ready to jump over to the questions, Fiona. I think that's what we had next in mind. And I can see that there have been quite a few questions come through. So the first one is, are the first 3 courses the same for music theory and musicianship? Then what's the difference in content after that? This is a question that we get asked all the time. And I just have to say, we've never had a musicianship, a range of books for musicianship. It's always something that's sort of come out of theory. And I would say that if you are wanting to go down the path of musicianship, which has an oral aspect from grade 4 upwards, you can use the theory courses, grades 1 to 3, but you'll need to consult the syllabus to see where the differences lie. Musicianship introduces some things more quickly than the theory, and then there are other things that it takes longer to get to. So you can use these courses for musicianship. You just need to consult the syllabus to see where the differences lie. Yeah, I think that's that one. Do you want to have a look at the next one?
Yeah, so somebody's asking, is all the material in the books also in the PDFs from the course?
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. It's all covered there, but they look very similar to the course. Very similar to the course. So there's no appreciable differences there.
The books have some added extras as well, don't they? That you can download all the answers. There's some questions in the books.
That's right. The books, the questions in the books were newly written for the books, so they are different to the courses. And those questions, we've made solutions available as a free download. You know, we thought that would be a welcome resource for students and teachers.
Perfect. So you've got so many options there. Somebody else has asked, what happens if you take an online exam and don't pass? Can you repeat the exam again? And is there a time limit?
Well, I might let you answer that one, Fiona.
Sure. So once you've purchased an exam and you sit the exam, our wonderful examiners will mark it. And I should say that I can see that Rita Cruz, our Chief Theory Examiner, is watching this webinar. Hello, Rita. So one of our online theory examiners will mark the exam. Unfortunately, if you don't pass that particular exam, you will have to register for a new one and try again. There is a 12-month time life for your exam. So once you log in and purchase an exam, you actually have 12 months to do as many practice exams as you like before you need to sit your official exam.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that covers that one.
Yeah, I've just seen another question where someone's asked us about the written exams and if there's more than just the one session per year now. That's actually a very good question, because we've made theory grades 1 to 6 available now as on-demand exams. So you can sit, if you want to sit written exams, you can still do that. And you can actually choose the time that you want to sit them. So you need to contact your state office and they will, they'll give you more details there. But yeah, you can now sit theory written exams if you choose to do so whenever you want.
Yes, and there are quite a few sort of conditions around that, and it's best, as Andrew said, to talk to your state office to find out what the particular arrangements are in your state. Here's another question, Andrew. If you take a course lesson test,
yep, are
the questions similar to the questions you'll find in an exam?
Yeah, I mentioned that just before. The style of questioning from the questions that are in the course and then in the practice tests, they are in the same style as those on the exam. So if you're doing the practice tests, the style of questions that you see in the practice tests will be replicated on the exam. Well, they won't be replicated, but the style of questioning will be very much the same. So you won't be seeing anything on the exam that you haven't already seen.
Okay, fantastic. Can you see any other questions there, Andrew, that you wanted to comment on?
There's another one here. Is the online course enough to prepare for an exam, or do we need to buy the books as well?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. The material in the course is exactly the same as the material in the books. The course has links to online practice tests. The theory books have the questions in the books, and they are different questions, but they are the same, again, the same style of questions. So I would say categorically that you can do the exam without having the book. You don't necessarily need the book. They're just different. They're just different things. There was another question before about people sort of losing touch with music as a written art form, you know, learning to write a treble clef rather than just clicking on something online. And, you know, I still think it's very important for kids, for anyone really, to be able to write music as well as, you know, do it online.
Great. I did notice somebody asking where they can buy the books. And you're very welcome to head to our website, ameb.edu.au, and go to our online shop. The books are available to purchase there. Or your local retailer might be able to help you out as well. We might just take one more or maybe two more questions. Somebody's asked, is the exam an open book exam?
No, they're not open book exams. If you go in to do these exams, it's expected that you've got all the knowledge in here.
That's it. And one of the requirements of doing the exam, even though the candidate will be doing it at home or perhaps at school, is that they have a supervisor who is there in the room with them, making sure that they're not opening their books. Fantastic. Well, I think that's probably all we have time for today. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing all of your knowledge and for chatting to us about the courses.
My pleasure.
And thank you to Alana, who is behind the scenes answering all your questions and keeping the webinar going. Please feel free to check out our Here to Help webpage for a list of resources and ideas to entertain you and keep you going through this time of restrictions. And of working at home. And we also have some more great webinars planned for the weeks ahead. Next week, on Thursday, the 28th of May, to mark Reconciliation Week, we will be talking to Kombumerri and Ngugi woman Candice Kruger, who is a music educator, composer and author, and somebody who we work with closely here at AMEB on a number of projects. And then in the following week, we'll be chatting to George Torbay about teaching musical theatre in Australia. So there's something for everyone. So thank you all very much for joining us, and we'll see you hopefully all again soon for episode 11.